In 16 days from now, the Pokémon Legends Z-A Mega Dimension DLC will officially launch. In this video, I'm going to go through a comprehensive list of everything that you need to do before the DLC launches so that day one you can have the best playing experience possible. With that being said, let's get into it. So, as you know, in the new DLC, there's going to be a handful of new Mega Evolutions, some that have been officially revealed, others that have not yet been revealed, but from some of the leaks online, it does appear there's going to be another big handful of new Mega Evolutions. So, the first thing you want to make sure that you're doing is maxing out your Mega Shards. Although it's not yet confirmed how you're going to get these new Mega Evolutions, one could imagine it's going to be similar to how we already got the previous ones. We do have the example of coming to Quasartico, and all of these Mega Stones are available for a price and usually several hundred Mega Shards. I already have a tutorial on my channel for a way that you can generate over 8,000 shards an hour. I highly recommend checking that out. I'll put a link on the screen in the description, whatever, but go check that out for sure, because that will make sure that you max out your Mega Shards. Doing this right now isn't necessarily something that is needed, more so something that when these shards do become available either in this shop to buy or in the Stone Emporium, you'll have that tutorial I just linked you to be able to help you do that, because you're probably going to need them. Now, there might be an entirely new method for when this comes out, but this is something you do want to be mindful about going into the DLC. However, if there is a new method, a new type of currency that needs to be exchanged in order for new Mega Stones, I will be making a tutorial to cover that then. But the first thing you should do is also go and get all your other Mega Stones if you have not already. Use that tutorial, it will help a lot. Now, the second thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you've collected all the necessary colorful screws. While there is 100 of them in the game, you only need 80 to max out all of your normal charms. Now, for some reason, if you're unfamiliar, these are the charms I'm talking about. As you can see here, there are all these different charms that have different effects, and when you get these charms, they stack onto each other and give a greater boost. Primarily, you're going to definitely want to have the ones that are XP, money gain, Mega Shard gain. All of those are the most important ones for sure, but I'd highly recommend maxing all of them out, because having these maxed out going into the DLC might help you in ways that you would have not imagined they would have initially, especially when it comes to getting money, which is something we're going to get into here. Now again, if you get 100 colorful screws, you get something else cool with it. I will let you find it out on your own, but you only need 80, so make sure you collect at least 80, max out all your charms here at Racine Construction with this NPC, and you're good to go. But now, on to the next one. Now, this next one is extremely important, especially since we don't know what's going to be available to buy in the DLC. New clothing options maybe? Who knows? But guarantee you're going to want to stack up some money in the bank. This part right here is honestly pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you the best ways that you can farm money in this game to just increase that bankroll as high as possible before December 10th. So obviously, sometimes when you're walking around, you're going to see these little glimmers on the ground, and when you pick them up, you might find things like EXP candies and nuggets, tiny mushrooms, etc. Even pretty feathers right there, that's another great example. Well, something that you're going to passively do anyways without really realizing it is pick up those items. Make sure you go sell them. This is such an easy way to get money with very little effort. All you need to do is make sure you're going to your treasures tab. You can see here, I mean, I probably last sold stuff maybe a day or two ago, and it's already stocked back up with quite a lot. You're going to have nuggets, you're going to have pearls, mushrooms, pretty feathers. All of these sell for an incredibly large amount of money, and you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of that. Remember every once in a while to be checking on this. This is a given, everybody should know this. But now, the next best thing you're going to do is battle zones. I recommend focusing solely just on trainer battles. Of course, you can also do the challenge cards that you get to try and get a boost in points, but if your goal is just to make money, I wouldn't worry about doing the challenge cards too much. Usually if you farm efficiently, you can end up getting yourself about 30 to 40 battles easily a night, but using some other methods, you can definitely get more than that. Try to sneak up as well on your opponents. That's the best method. Obviously, you guys probably know this already, but I'm going to show you just how easy this can be, okay? I'm going to grind through, I'm going to battle a bunch of trainers, but I'm going to show you real quickly. All you want to do is bring yourself a Dragonite. I mean, Dragonite and Lucario are probably the best heavy hitters, especially because they get access to something like Extreme Speed and Bullet Punch. Any priority moves will make it so that you're moving fast right off the rip. You can do challenges, but I think if you just solely focus on battling as many trainers as possible, in the long run, the monetary reward from it is a lot higher than if you were to just focus solely on doing only the challenges. And as soon as you run out of trainers in your immediate area, instead of you just sitting there waiting for the new ones to spawn in, I recommend just shifting to another battle zone. Now, in this example as well, you can see there I have a challenge for knocking out opponents using rock type moves. If you can afford the time to do it, you should. I would only recommend doing the challenges that are for a higher reward, such as this one where that's 1500. 1500 is going to equate to 15,000 Pokédollars, and that's a pretty substantial amount. But if it's something that's only like 150, 200, something like that, then I wouldn't even worry about doing those. And for trainers like this, always make sure you ask them for their prize medals. If they say, can I interest you in some prize medals, take those. Like, absolutely take those. They are so worth it. But with that being said, you kind of get the gist. I'm going to come back as soon as I'm done, and I'm going to see what I end up getting here as an average. I'm assuming it's going to be between 35 to 40 battles. That's usually what I end up getting. Alright, so that actually went a lot better than I thought it was going to. I nearly got 50 battles there. As you can see, 120,000 for the 8,000 medals. That was with some challenges as well, but not many. Times 3 multiplier, 360k, just like that, and that was only about 30 minutes, I'd say. So if you can do what I just did 2 times in an hour, you're looking at over 700,000 Pokédollars. Money is going to be huge and very essential for this DLC, because I assure you there will be things of very high value that you will probably need to spend your money on. So make sure you grind as many battles as you can. Get that shmoney, baby. You're gonna need it, not just for the DLC, but for this next point that I'm about to get into right now. Now, the next thing I recommend after you build up a bit of cash flow is max out your bag on healing items. This is extremely important. Whether you're doing the DLC or not, this is just good to have, especially if you're doing shiny hunting or you're doing the Infinite Royale or anything like that. It's always good to have healing items. So I definitely recommend, after you've, gotten a substantial amount of money, go to Nurse Joy, go buy a bunch of healing items. If you can afford full restores, if you want to be bougie like that, go for it. For me, I usually just use max potions. I'm going to buy 904 right now and just max out my bag. That was 1,000,000 Pokédollars, but hey, that's a light day's work for the boy. Like I said, you can realistically get that back in like just over an hour, so you're probably good to go. Buy revives, buy potions. That's very essential. Make sure you do that. Now, I'd also recommend getting some super potions. The reason why is because auto heal, it does prioritize using the worst items first, and sometimes won't even work with hyper or max potions. Really recommend, if you have the money, just 999 max out super potions. This will be really helpful for on the go when you auto heal something. You might use a couple of them up at one time, but it's better to have a surplus than have none at all, especially when you're in a pinch. You don't want to deal with auto heal and not letting you use it. So definitely recommend getting super potions if you have some extra cash to spend as well. I'd also recommend coming over to Quasartico and then heading over to the Pokeball Emporium. This is another area you're going to want to visit after you build up some cash flow. Obviously, if you want to get some cool Pokeballs to put some new shinies that you're going to find in the DLC in, you can totally do that. You want to stock up on some luxury balls, go for it. Ain't nobody stopping you except that bankroll. Honestly, I'd recommend stocking up on quick balls. Like for me, I'm probably going to go ahead and just grab a couple hundred right now. Quick balls are going to be essential. I would probably recommend dusk balls as well, seeing as the environment might affect that in the DLC. It does look like it is always kind of like in a nighttime setting. Not sure that's actually going to be the case or not, but I do recommend maybe dusk balls, quick balls, luxury balls if you really want them, anything else as well. And don't forget as well too, just even stocking up on regular ultra balls is also a very good idea. Like 100% stock up on him. I just maxed out my bag, done and dusted. I'd also recommend grabbing a pretty good surplus of full heals, especially if you didn't buy full restores and just did max potions. It's good to just get as many as you can. Fill your bag up with all these items, your Pokeballs, your healing items, and you're going to be a-okay, good to go. But with that, on to the next one. Now, the next most important thing is making sure that you have fully completed the main story. It is going to be essential in order to play this DLC, so make sure that you have the main story complete by December 10th. Additionally, make sure that you're going to your mystery gift and you're grabbing the Shine Bright Like a Gemstone quest to get yourself a Diancie. This is also something only available to do after you've beaten the main story. Both of these things definitely recommend you do before the DLC comes out. And as well, if you want to kill some time and have nothing else to do, you should do all the side quests. As you can see, I've been heavily lacking on completing them. I'm actually in the process of trying to go through them all right now, and you can watch me do that live on stream. I stream on YouTube and Twitch all the time. Come check it out and make sure you subscribe. I guess, I mean, that's the best kind of plug right there. Just subscribe and come watch us live, baby. It's gonna be a good time. And I'll also be streaming the DLC when it comes out too. Don't worry. The next thing you're going to want to do is prepare a team to use for the DLC. Obviously, new Pokemon are going to be coming, so you're going to probably make some adjustments to your team along the way. But going into it, especially when dealing with any story-related quests, you're going to want to have a good team going into it. If you have not already created your go-to team, I recommend starting off by picking the mons you want, finding them, catch them, and then take them to the Justice Dojo. Here's where you can do the hyper training over here with these ladies. You can also come over to Wild Zone 8, and you're going to be able to grab some berries here for, you know, doing your EV training, EV reducing, all that stuff. I'm not going to give you the whole tutorial right now on how to do that, but I definitely recommend that you go ahead and EV train up an entire team, do the hyper training. Doing ranked battles online will also get you access to bottle caps, and that does make things a whole lot easier. So make sure you go ahead and create yourself a good team. Even if it's the same team you used for your in-game playthrough, EV train them up. Make sure everything is up to standard, preferably level 100. Get yourself maxed out on everything. And again, if you want some help on how to generate some more money, use my Mega Shard farming tutorial, and you can use that to even buy some candies to make the level up process a little bit easier. But yeah, once again, before the DLC launches, get your whole team up to 100, get them EV trained, get everything with good held items. Just get your whole team battle ready before day 1 of the DLC on December 10th. One of the next things I recommend you do, seeing as there is 2 new Raichu Mega Evolutions, Raichu X and Raichu Y, you might want to go ahead and shiny hunt for some Pikachus to use them in order to get shiny versions of the new Mega Raichus. The best way to do that is coming to Wild Zone 3. Here, as you know, we got some Pikachus over here. They're lingering, they're having fun, they're hanging out, right? Now, this is as old as time, and by old as time, I mean pretty much a month old, because the game hasn't been out that long. You should go ahead and just do the AFK reset method, where you just literally go up and down the staircase. You hold your controller down, use a rubber band, throw it around that. AFK hunted for a while, because honestly, you can't go wrong with the idea of making these shinies super easy, considering people are literally just using turbo controllers. This isn't really that bad. Throw this on while you go for a shift at work, maybe while you go for a jog, maybe while you're making dinner, or watch a movie in the background, do whatever the case is. And I mean, you don't obviously have to do it like this. If you want to legitimately hunt it the other real way, then go for it. But honestly, you're not really missing too much. It's the same monotonous task that we all know and love, but this is a good way to go ahead and maybe get yourself a shiny Pikachu or 2 so you can have one ready to be able to Mega Evolve when the DLC comes out. The next thing I recommend is do your best to get your Pokédex completed. This is something that you should naturally be able to do whilst you're playing through the main story of the game, and then also finishing Mabel's research. Trust me, I know how daunting this is. I've done the 1,000 battles. I got the shiny charm. This is also something I recommend you do if you can. Realistically, the hardest part is just the battles. It's not even hard, it's just annoying. Do that, you'll complete the Pokédex in the process, you'll get your shiny charm. These are 2 things that I would highly recommend doing before the DLC comes out, especially to make it easier for you to find shiny versions of the new Pokemon that are going to appear in the DLC. So if you haven't already, get to it, man. Start grinding, get that shiny charm. If you can, before December 10th, I highly recommend you do this. It will make your experience a whole lot better. Now, the next thing is something I personally have been lacking on quite a lot myself, but I recommend that we all take some time to organize our boxes. As you can see here, my PC box is just filled to the brim with random Pokemon that I was catching through Mabel's research quests, or just in general catching. Trust me, I really need to organize this. The best part is when you want to release stuff, you can hit the L button or the L trigger, and then you can mass select a bunch of Pokemon and release them all at once if you want to. I would take some time and just organize your boxes. See, I got one here for all my shinies. I'm starting a second one here, but like there's so many dupes of Pokemon that I have here that I really don't need. I feel like if you take like a good 20 minutes, you could probably just organize your boxes, figure out what you're going to keep and what you need to get rid of, and get your PC nice and cleaned up and ready to go for the DLC. And the last thing you're going to want to do before the DLC comes out is make sure that you subscribe to my channel. This is going to be your #1 resource for anything and everything everything when it comes to the DLC for Legends ZA and any future content this game might have. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, and drop a like on the video if you found this helpful. We have a Discord server as well, which you can find the link for that in the description. I always post there whenever I go live or post a new video. Come join the community, even off stream. We would love to have you on board. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's been 10 things that you need to do before the DLC drops for Pokemon Legends ZA. Once again, if you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you, Legends, in another video very soon.